Hey guys, welcome to the Monday video. We're still at the shop. There's my mess I was talking about. It's kind of built up again. Today we're talking Harbor Freight tools. When you should buy them, when you shouldn't buy them. You're not going to want to miss this. I'll be right back. We're going to go load up some firewood, then I'll meet you for the discussion.
Damn, it's cold. There we are. So that's what we're after right there. Radco's got the hookup. Stuff burns in my stove a lot nicer than logs do for some reason. So we're gonna hook up with some of this, then we'll get on to the discussion.
All right, so like I said, today we're talking Harbor Freight tools. Now, I think the effectiveness and when you should buy Harbor Freight tools, or if you should or if you shouldn't, depends on three things. It depends on the initial quality of the tool, how often you're gonna use it, and what your intended purpose of that tool is going to be. I would say there's four things, and one would be a warranty, but the beauty of Harbor Freight is almost all of their stuff either comes with a warranty, like all their hand tools are lifetime warranted anyway, or if you get some of their electronics products, which we'll get into that in a minute, but unless you want more than the first 30-day or whatever the warranty is, you can buy an extension up to like 2 years, no questions asked, for like another $10. So I'm normally not a believer in buying extended warranties at all, but for example, that jump pack I bought, it was like $40 with my coupon. I just bought it because I wanted it at work, right? Just because I'm sick of hunting around for one. And I did actually buy the warranty extension on that because the key is no questions asked warranty. So let's say a year and a half from now, because I bought the 2-year warranty, which is $10. Let's say I'm pulling a car in and I had the jump pack hooked up and it falls off and I break the damn thing. Well, guess what? No questions asked. I turn it in, I get a new one. Happy day, right? So in some cases, I think that's worth it, and that justifies me buying a Harbor Freight tool. Yes, the big box tool companies, your Snap-ons, your Max, your Matco, they all have pretty good warranties most of the time, but you're paying up the nose for the tool. Is it a better tool? Yes. Is it always justified? No. I think it depends how often you're going to use that tool. The jump pack in my case doesn't see a ton of use, and when it does, I use it quick, I put it back. Harbor Freight one suits me just as well as the Mac one would for literally like a tenth of the price. And in case you guys missed it before, I live in Minnesota. Right now on Wednesday, it's supposed to be -60 with the wind chill, is what they were saying. So the jump pack works pretty damn good. Anyway, moving on. The next thing I think you have to think about when you're buying a Harbor Freight tool is the initial quality of your tool. I would not recommend, with a couple exceptions, buying Harbor Freight battery-powered tools. Most of the time, they're complete shit. Their corded stuff, their battery stuff, shit. All right? The biggest thing with their battery stuff is there's not a lot of circuit protection in there. So if something happens, it fries the whole tool. There are a few exceptions though. I have a Harbor Freight hacksaw that I bought for $18. The whole reason I bought that saw is because when I rented a shop with a few buddies of mine for a couple years, we used the same Harbor Freight saw constantly, abused the hell out of it, and whoo, there's my sister. And it put a lot of nice projects together. That LS1 GTO review, if you haven't seen it, check it out. We talk about a turbo kit that we completely one-offed for that car. That car had a rear mount turbo that we made everything ourselves. And that hacksaw cut up all the steel pipe we used for the turbo piping and the intercooler piping and stuff like that. And my buddy still has it. It's like 5 years old and the damn thing still works. So that's one exception. But what I'm saying is, I think you have to look at the initial quality of that tool. Because if you're buying a tool that's a piece of shit, and then who cares if it has a warranty? If it's not going to work very well, you're going to warranty it and get the same shitty tool again. So, for example, I bought a set of ratcheting wrenches from Harbor Freight once, just to keep at home, and they were the worst wrenches I ever bought. For one, they were shorter than any wrench I've ever used, so they look like a normal size wrench, but they're short enough to where you don't get any leverage on anything. And then on top of that, the open end of the ratchets were horrible, so you could feel that you were gonna pry open the end of that wrench and smash your knuckles into something, or you ended up stripping off the head of a bolt or a nut or whatever you were working on. So in that sense, I don't think that I would ever buy ratchets from Harbor Freight again because they were shitty. So I don't care if I have the warranty because it's just gonna be warranted for another shitty tool. Two more scenarios. One, generally, Harbor Freight's hand tools are decent. Like I said, I hated the wrenches I had, but you got to look at the simplicity of the tool you're looking at. If you're looking at getting a hammer, it's kind of hard to screw that up. Yes, there's better ones, and there's ones that the quality is lower, but it's probably going to do its job. It's a damn hammer. One thing I did pick up from Harbor Freight, which is kind of a specialty tool, is these flex head ultra low profile ratchets. I got the long one here and the short one. Switch direction on them really easy, and a quick release for your socket, but they're nice and thin. I actually bought one of these for when I was working on a GMC Acadia. Don't ever buy one of those. If you do, unsubscribe. No, I'm just kidding. Don't unsubscribe, but they're piles of shit. I wouldn't recommend anyone buying Acadia. If you're thinking about buying one, please, for the love of God, don't. But anyway, I bought this ratchet for that project. I was trying to get the center console apart without taking the whole thing apart and replace an airbag module, and this was actually short enough to fit in there. Harbor Freight's ratchets I've had pretty good luck with. The tooth count is pretty nice, they feel nice, and like I said, lifetime warranty. So if it's a decent ratchet for a cheap price and it's lifetime warranted, why not go for it? The last scenario on Harbor Freight tools I have is I buy a lot of Harbor Freight stuff to create other stuff with it. You saw that firsthand in the welding video. I took those brushes and I cut the handles off and used them to make a handle on the welder housing. So if you need a tool and you're gonna repurpose it, why not get the cheap one, right? All right, I lied, we got one more. The last point I wanna make in making you a decision when you're trying to justify buying something from Harbor Freight or not, that I personally do, is if I wanna try something out. Let's say I wanna see how often I would use a particular tool or a particular set of tools or whatever the case may be. I might try the cheap one first, and if I find that it's something that I need and that I use at the shop and that makes me money, saves me time, whatever, then maybe I'll upgrade in the future and say, hey, yeah, this is something that I could really use. I would really like to have in my tool collections because it makes me money, it saves me money, whatever the case is. If I buy the cheap one first, then I'm not out the money if I don't use it. Granted, you could always sell stuff, but it's just less of a hassle to me. So I'll buy the cheap one first sometimes, see if I like it, see if it's something that I use, and then I'll upgrade from there. And then I take the cheap one home, right? So then I got my nice one at work, and I got my cheap one at home just for when I do side work. So, Harbor Freight tools. Sometimes I think they're great, sometimes I think they suck. I really think it depends on the situation, but I hope you guys enjoyed this Monday discussion video. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think down below. I really appreciate the support. See you on Thursday.